Hey everyone, so there are a ton of hidden Black Series features and secrets, if you will, that I didn't know about when I first got a lot of these figures, and I only found out from people on Reddit or Instagram. So for those of you that aren't on those social medias as much, or perhaps just are new to collecting or just don't own some of these figures, I wanted to point out some of the hidden features that I've discovered over the years. And we'll move pretty quickly after this first one, but basically the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett flame effects do work on later releases of Boba Fett, including this one. I do have a custom head by Fett clone on this figure, but you can see it adds a whole new level of dynamism to the figure, and you can also use the jetpack flame effects interchangeably as well. Here is my very customized Cal Kestis Deluxe figure. I took the blue body from the original release and switched out the chest piece for the poncho, but this poncho has this little hole right here on the back where you can fit BD1, so if you want to display him with BD on his shoulder like he is in the game, you can just go ahead and stick his foot in right here, and you can kind of just get it over past the midpoint of the foot there for it to stay in place, and then if you spin it around, you have BD looking over his shoulder. With the rumors that Lucasfilm doesn't like to have severed heads or other parts in the packages with the figures the way that Marvel Legends does, it's kind of surprising that they let them do this kind of like sliced off face in the backpack here of the Hoth Trooper, but if you just bought this figure off the shelf, you might not have known that this existed, where you can change out his face and get a whole variety of different trooper types. Well, I guess not really a whole variety, but two different types. Please hit that like button or subscribe if you would like to see more content like this moving forward. This Forlum feature, I don't know if this is really that much of a feature, but some people mentioned it when I was asking around on what to include in this video, but he does have a bit of a pass-through feature on the eyes there, where if you hit it at the right angle with a light, they do light up. There's not really any practical way to display him or even photograph him like this, so I don't know if this really counts as a feature, but we'll move on. Jawa figures have a long history of light up eyes, and while this one doesn't have the pass-through light feature like some of the vintage figures, it does have an extremely sensitive black light paint on the eyes that does tend to glow a little bit even after you turn off the light. It's again something that is kind of tricky to display, but you might be able to get a couple cool photographs like that if you have a black light handy. This Rise of Skywalker C-3PO figure actually has a couple of features, surprisingly. If you put him in the freezer, his eyes will turn red, sort of like when he is translating the Sith text in Rise of Skywalker. And if you pop off the back of his head, you can see there is quite a bit of painted detail here on the wires, and so this is pretty cool to see as a hidden feature. This really isn't something that you would know if you just, picked up the figure off the shelf, so I thought that was pretty cool to see that level of detail and a secret feature like that. This one I will keep quick, but the Moloch figure from Solo has a removable faceplate. This is one of those figures that I think I got it for like $7. It's gone on clearance many times. Not super popular character, but it is a really cool background figure. I had this in my Jabba's Palace diorama, and he even has some articulation in the face, so that was pretty cool to see. Speaking of the Solo movie, we have Dryden Voss, and he has his scars that when you put him in the freezer, they turn bright red, as do the details on his weapons. You can see how they glow red like they do in the film, so that is pretty cool, and it's also really cool how fast you can kind of wipe away these scars here just with a little bit of heat from your finger. You can see it goes back to its normal state. In the Rebels TV show, Kanan Jarrus has to hide his true identity as a Jedi, so instead of having his lightsaber on his belt, he has it separated into two pieces, and you can actually do that with the figure. They split apart like this, and you can actually put both pieces onto his belt like so. And that allows you to get a little bit more accurate posing and display depending on which scene you're trying to recreate. I don't know if this one really counts as a surprise or a secret feature, but I also just love any opportunity to show off my Crosshair figure with this Fett clone head, but the gun does fit into the backpack here in case you would like to display him standing up without the gun in his hand. I don't know if Hasbro had a larger budget for the Rise of Skywalker figures, but a lot of these have hidden features, and so this Zori Bliss figure, if you pop off the visor, she actually has the actress's eyes underneath, and these do have the face printing tech that we saw introduced to the line around this time that this figure came out. This one's a little bit probably more well known, but this figure is a little bit rare, so the Jabba the Hutt release, both the San Diego Comic-Con one and the standard release, have this little feature where you can move his arms and make his mouth move. And this one's more about articulation rather than any secret features, but I guess the secret feature would be that you can pull the neck of the battle droid straight up, and that actually gives you an extra point of articulation, so you can get the head kind of onto the chest like it is in the film when they are all folded up, and then you can go ahead and get his legs and arms into place in case you would like to display some battle droids in the backdrop all folded up. I might need to make a 3D printed diorama to display a bunch of folded up battle droids on your shelf in case you have a bunch but don't really have anywhere to display them. That could be kind of cool. So a lot of people have actually actually said that the C-3PO that comes with the Chewbacca 2-pack from The Empire Strikes Back is their favorite C-3PO because you can actually put him all back together. And I know this is probably pretty obvious for anyone that owns this 2-pack, but for anyone that's been considering buying it, you may not have known that you can actually get a fully fledged C-3PO out of this, so you really get 2 figures. This is the archive release. You can see her on the right. He's a little bit too yellow on the right, and the one on the left, I don't know, something about the dirtiness of it and just the darker gold color I just like a lot more. That's all for today's video. I am heading to Galaxy's Edge tomorrow, and I'm going to be taking a lot of videos really focusing on all of the small details there, so please sure to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell if you would like to see that when that goes live later this week. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.